This is a review for the Ecovacs N8 Pro and N8 Pro Plus. The N8 Pro Plus comes with an auto-empty dock and compatible dustbin, while the standard N8 Pro does not. Otherwise, the two robots are identical. The N8 Pro Plus is often on sale as one of the cheapest robot vacuums on the market that comes with a dock for self-emptying and is also equipped with front-facing lasers for small obstacle detection and avoidance. The combination of these features at a low price makes this robot an especially good value, or does it? We tested these features to see how well they work, to determine if this robot really is as good of a value as it seems. We also tested the N8 Pro's airflow, suction, debris pickup, and general navigation to see if it's a good robot vacuum otherwise. We start this review with airflow and suction testing. The N8 Pro's airflow was measured at 23 CFM. Its suction was measured at 1.34 kPa. In our carpet stress test, the N8 Pro picked up all debris types reasonably well. This robot has two side brushes, one on each side, that help pull debris from the perimeter of the robot into its direct cleaning path, which is formed by its 6.5-inch long brush roll. The robot used this brush roll, its two side brushes, and repeated movement over the same areas to get a proper cleaning of the test area over time. In our carpet deep clean test on default power, the N8 Pro picked up 8 grams of debris after 3 passes over an area of carpet embedded with 30 grams of fine debris. On maximum power, it picked up 9 grams of debris. In our hard floor stress test, the N8 Pro picked up most debris types fairly well, though it did struggle a bit picking up the larger debris we used for this test. Note how it leaves these 3 Cheerios in the bottom right of the test station near the end of its cleaning cycle. These are pieces of debris that the robot pulled underneath itself for a good portion of the test, but never properly processed. Moving on to edge debris pickup, you can see here how the N8 Pro doesn't path quite close enough to the edge to pick up all of the debris lying along the edge during this first pass, though it does eventually pick up most of it later on in the same cleaning cycle. The N8 Pro performed very well in our robot vacuum crevice test, at least on maximum power. On maximum power, it was one of the best performers in this test among all of the robot vacuums we've tested so far. In our human hair pickup test, the N8 Pro picked up all the hair, but most of that hair wasn't pulled into its dustbin. 70 to 80% of the hair it picked up tangled around its brush roll and around one of its side brushes. As I mentioned earlier, this robot is equipped with 2 front-facing lasers, which give it the ability to detect and avoid smaller obstacles. Note that this feature did not work as intended in our pet hair pickup testing. Throughout this test, the robot repeatedly mistook tufts of pet hair as obstacles it needed to avoid. This caused it to repeatedly alter its path, instead of properly pathing straight over the tufts without hesitation. When it did path over the tufts of hair, it would sometimes not pick them up on a first pass. Air exhausting out of the robot also blew certain tufts towards the edges of the test station. Despite all of these inefficiencies, the N8 Pro did pick up all but one of the tufts by the end of its cleaning cycle. The N8 Pro does come with a mop attachment, and so we tested how well it can mop. In our mopping test, it took 2 cleaning cycles for it to get a proper cleaning of the whole test surface. After this first run, a few stains were still visible, so we ran the robot again to get a proper cleaning. Inspecting the mop after these tests, we found a concentration of the dried-on grape juice it picked up toward the top portion of the mop. This indicates that the robot wasn't applying equal pressure across the whole mop during cleaning, and this is likely why the robot wasn't able to get a perfect clean after one run. It was working with very little mopping surface area to clean. We tested the N8 Pro's cleaning efficiency and coverage in 2 different environments, an empty room and a cluttered room. In our empty room testing, we see the robot pathing very inefficiently. Note this unnecessary circular motion, and how the robot doesn't complete this row before it turns to start another row. The robot continues to path very strangely for the duration of the test. During the second trial, the robot again doesn't always complete rows, and again paths in a circle unnecessarily, this time near the end of the run. Despite these pathing inefficiencies, the N8 Pro does get good complete coverage in these tests. In our clutter room testing, we can see how well the robot paths around larger obstacles. It seems to path around these obstacles without issue, though we still see pathing inefficiencies in the few open areas of the room. When it comes to coverage, we have no complaints. The N8 Pro gets good redundant coverage in this test as well. We removed these larger obstacles and replaced them with several smaller obstacles to more thoroughly test the robot's small obstacle detection and avoidance feature. In these tests, the N8 Pro performed quite poorly. In this first trial, it starts off the test by pushing around its own charging dock. It then runs right over the sock. It does seem to recognize the other obstacles, but eventually pushes around all but one of them as the test continues. It pushes against its charging dock again to start the second trial, so we reset to tape the dock down to the floor. To start this third trial, the robot again pushes against its dock, but this time it doesn't move because we taped it down. The robot again starts off the test by pushing around the sock. It again seems to recognize the other objects, but eventually pushes around most of them in this trial. As you can see, this robot's small obstacle detection and avoidance feature simply does not work. The detection component does work to an extent, but the robot does not properly avoid smaller obstacles according to our testing. Other important specifications and test results we considered for this review are summarized here. Note especially that this is a full-fledged mapping robot that has the ability to map multiple floors of your home. And using the Ecovacs companion app, you can set the robot to clean specific parts of the generated map or set it to stay out of certain parts of the map. You can also label different parts of the map, though you have to choose from a list of labels. You can't put any custom labels on the map. This is a unique limitation that we've really only seen with Ecovacs mapping robots. In the same chart, also note the N8 Pro's runtime, bin volume, and noise output, and how those specifications and test results compare to the average for all of the robot vacuums we've tested so far. Lastly, note the robot's diameter and height. These dimensions make the N8 Pro one of the larger robot vacuums we've tested. Moving on to what we like and dislike about this vacuum, first let's talk about what we like. The N8 Pro has excellent airflow and suction according to our testing. It picks up smaller debris on carpet and hard floors very well. It deep cleans carpet very well. It produces less noise on default and maximum power than most competitors. We also really like the self-empty functionality of the N8 Pro Plus, and the fact that it's usually priced very competitively for a robot with this functionality. Moving on to what we dislike about this vacuum, the N8 Pro does struggle a bit picking up larger debris and debris lying along edges on hard floors. Its mopping plate doesn't apply equal pressure over the surface it's mopping, which reduces its mopping performance. The robot paths inefficiently in big open spaces, and it fails to properly detect and avoid smaller obstacles according to our testing. In terms of general recommendations, the N8 Pro appears to be a great value. It offers both self-emptying and small obstacle detection and avoidance at a very competitive price point. It's usually one of the cheapest robot vacuums on the market with both of these features. The problem is that one of them, small obstacle detection and avoidance, basically doesn't work. This immediately takes it from being a great value to only being a good value at best. And not really being able to detect and avoid small obstacles also takes away one of its biggest potential advantages over other similarly priced self-emptying robot vacuums. All things considered, including all of the pros and cons I just mentioned, we do not consider the N8 Pro to be a top-rated self-empty option, even at its more budget-friendly price point. Instead, we only see it as a reasonable alternative if other options are out of stock, or if you can find the N8 Pro at a deep discount. See the description of this video for a link to check this model's current pricing, as well as a link to the latest updated list of all of the robot vacuums we recommend, and thank you for watching.